Hello everyone and welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the Uncensored Match Build-Up show. I'm Steve Hoard, that is Erroll Smith, and over there at the board is Mr. Dan Clubb. Yes, we're getting ready for the Merseyside Derby. Kicks off in about an hour and 15 minutes time. The official team news will be out in about 15 minutes time. I feel like I haven't seen you for ages.
It's been a minute.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How you doing?
All right, I'm in full, not football mode. I've been in, full training mode for, this charity event. So, it's been a lot of early mornings, a lot of late evenings, and a lot of getting punched in and around the face and the body.
You're looking well for it. You must be getting it too much.
Yeah.
Well, they said the art of boxing
is not to get hit.
And you're looking well. I half expected you to come in with black eyes and cauliflower ears and stuff.
Yeah. Not yet.
We're getting there. Go there, check out Errol Socials. By the way, Errol's doing a great cause. He's there doing a boxing match. So yeah, go and get yourselves involved there if you can support what is a very, very good charity. Right then, let's get straight into it, Errol. It's the derby. We've been crap. They've been crap.
This is going to be a slugfest.
They've got a new manager and are feeling a little bit more confident where we've got a couple of lads half back, which might make us be a little bit more confident, although it looks like most of them are going to be on the bench. But again, I did an interview with Sachin Nakrani from The Guardian. It was me and Chris and a couple of lads from the Blue Room podcast, the Everton podcast. And Sachin said, both teams are probably going into a derby after two teams being at a low, whatever, simultaneously. Mm-hmm. Usually it'd be that they'd be struggling, but we'd be flying. But for now, they're even worse than they have been when we are struggling. It does feel like both sides go into this one where in bad positions relative to what they thought they were going to be.
Well, yes, and to be fair, the only other time that I can remember it, but again, it was us. It was the COVID season, and it was us that were struggling, and they seemed to have a little bit more. But he was a little bit more buoyant. It's been shit, honey. We can't catch a break at the moment, and I know you said then we've got a couple of players coming back, and one part of me thinks that's a good thing, and I think when you're looking at it from the bench's point of view, being able to turn around, being able to turn around and look at his bench and think, I've got some senior players there that can be game changers for us. I think that'll be great, but do you really want to be risking players that might only be 70 to 80% on a game where they're going to get kicked up and down for the better part of half an hour or 45 minutes, whatever it might be, whenever you roll the dice and change substitutes. So I always keep thinking, the lads that he puts out on the pitch have got to be the lads that are going to stand up and deliver. But in recent weeks, even those lads have struggled for us. So it's really hard to feel confident in this Liverpool side at the moment.
Absolutely. We've got a super chat in from Scott Hawks. Thanks very much, Scott. $25 super chat says, it's been a rough week. It's only Monday. I've got bronchitis and now my kids got COVID. Come on, the Reds, give me a break. Get well soon, Scott, and get well soon to your little lad as well, or your daughter. Apologies, didn't say what it was there, but yeah. Best wishes to you all. Hopefully the Reds can bring you a little bit of cheer. Fingers crossed things can go a little bit differently. And then we've got Quadbod in the Discord who says it's time to fight for it. If we can't get up for this one, then we should just quit entirely. I fancy a right battle here tonight, 2-1 to the Reds.
Yeah, it's going to be a slugfest.
It is, and I do agree. You mentioned there, actually, about... And I mentioned briefly, and we'll come to that in a moment about this, but players returning, getting potentially back to fitness. It's obviously been a couple of days now since Jürgen did his press conference, but just to give some clarity on who's back, who's available, who's not, just a quick clip from Jürgen's press, like I say, it was a few days ago, but here's Jürgen giving you guys the update on who might or might not be in this team in about 10 minutes' time. Check this out.
The players are back in training in different stages. So Diogo is the closest. He trains now normal already for 2 days. So another 3 days of training possible for him, and then I think he's in contention for the squad, I would say, but we have to wait a little bit. Bobby, next one. I don't know. We have to see how that looks now, how he deals with training intensity, stuff like this, and then we make a decision there. And and Virtual, I don't think is that close already, but we will work on that as well. Arthur, probably similar to Bobby, I would say. No, that's it. What was it? Well, I don't have to worry about intensity. It's always, intense is always important part of the game, and we never went into a derby and said, I have nothing to say, it's a derby, go for it. So always informations we have to give, and we will give them this time as well. And we know it's a difficult game. Dyche is now there, and obviously massive impact immediately. It was obvious, and we have to prepare that, and that's what we did and will do in the upcoming days.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the gaffer talking all about who is and isn't available, and then a little chat about the tactics as well. To sum it up, Jota should be fine. Bobby and Arthur, we'll see. Van Dijk, he was less sure about. With all that being said, then I am going to bring up right now. Producer Joe's going to bring up for me my betmate team that I selected for this game right away. I went for Pickford in goal, vice captain. I think he's going to have a lot of saves to make. That's why I've done that one. I've gone Robbo, Trent, Onana for the Ev, of course. I've got Naby Keita, captain Mo Salah, and Darwin Núñez. So I'll wait and see. Like I say, that is going to be my team. Paul's team or Chris's team, who's next? I'm going to find it's Paul. He's got Pickford, Trent, Bacheta, Onana, Gay, Gakpo, and Salah. And then Chris has got Pickford again. Trent, Tarkowski, Decore, Keita, Captain Darwin Núñez, and Cody Gakpo. So yeah, if you want to get yourselves involved with the game, do check out the link in the description below.
Who's been smashing it?
Of all of us,
Yeah,
Paul's been the best so far. I think he's won the most money. He's got this habit of captaining the other team's goalie, and it tends to work out well for him. So he's been doing that again. But yeah, the link's in the description. If you want to come and play along with us, by the way, if you're in the UK and you're over 18, do come and do that. You might want to wait 8 minutes to get the official team news. Although you can pick your team now, and the good thing about betmate is, of course, you can change it up to 5 minutes before kick-off. So I'll find out in a minute about what mine's going to be. Right then, I'm going to head over to Dan. Dan, I've got just a quick question for you, mate. You mentioned all that stuff being back. You've got the team there on the board that started the last game, and Liverpool got absolutely well-lead off the pitch.
Humbled.
What changes do you see? Obviously, we know Thiago's going to be out, so you can take him off. But what do you envisage Jürgen doing for this one?
It's an interesting one. I think you mentioned the word fight there quite a lot, both in terms of being a slugfest. It's this midfield area. I think Everton fans were really made up with how their midfield worked against Arsenal. They had a lot more fight, a lot more battle in there. And this is obviously so often where games are won and lost. It's been a key area for us this season. I wonder if he'll bring some more experience into this department. Your Hendersons, your Fabinhos, players who've been hopelessly out of form, if we're going to be brutally honest about it. However, that experience and that nous, that know-how, that little bit of edge, he might just prefer them over your Bacheta, who's been superb, make no bones about it. He's obviously injured, so we know Thiago's going to miss out, so that's probably Henderson. But I just wonder if he's got a big call to make over this, man. He's got some huge calls over the bench because of the players that are coming back to the side now. He's got some key players or some important first-team players could be left out of this squad tonight. But for me, it's this area of the field that matters the most, is the midfield. I wonder if he'll do something with Bacheta for this one.
Well, we're here, and we can say this now. We don't know the official team news until 6 minutes, Dan, but if you could put this team on the board for me, mate, because this is the rumour team that we think he's doing. So no, Bacheta is in. So we're hearing that Naby's out on the bench anyway. Thiago, we know, is injured. So Fabinho and Henderson coming back in into the midfield.
So it'll be that one, won't it?
And then Hendo in.
You're the fourth.
Yeah, maybe Hendo on the right.
And then Bacheta. That's an interesting goal. There he is. There's my man. So that way.
We're hearing that this is the team that Jürgen's picking. Ali, Robbo, Gomez, Matip, Trent, Fab, Hendo, Bacheta, Gakpo, Núñez, Salah. I'll stick with you then we'll confirm the bench later. And by the way, we'll confirm if that is the case, like I say, in about 5 minutes' time. But interested in that, obviously, with Thiago injury, he had to bring somebody back in. My initial thought was he was just going to go straight. Hendo comes in for Thiago, but it looks like he's gone to Fabinho, meaning Stefan Bajcetic is going to be pushed further forwards. Is that something to do with Everton have got a very combative midfield? And that's Jürgen trying to just go man on man against that. He didn't want to risk Naby or Harvey Elliott against what is a very athletic, very combative Everton midfield three.
Yeah, it probably most likely is. It's a big sort of show of faith in this kid again, though, because it's almost saying you're not in your ideal position there, you're 6, where you've been so good for us, but I don't want to lose you at the 11. So he's actually sort of manoeuvred it around to keep him in the side. So again, it's a massive kudos to him and what he's been doing. But yeah, you're probably absolutely right, because if you do bring Harvey Elliott in, you're weakening that area of the field again in terms of physically. Just in terms of, not in terms of like his quality or in terms of what you can do on the ball, but certainly in terms of physically. So I think it's an interesting one for him. I actually spoke to Matt Addison recently on Expert Insight and said he could play a further forward role and he wants to see him do it. This could be the night. But yeah, that is a midfield that won't mind getting stuck in, and that could be absolutely crucial tonight. And I think another interesting point will be the front line. We had loads of deliberation before the last match about how that front field line up, whether it be Núñez in the middle or Gakpo in the middle again. That, for me, is one of the more fascinating areas of tonight, because I think Núñez should be from the left and Gakpo in the middle, but who knows what he's going to do again.
Come to you, Erroll, on that one, because, like I say, a lot has changed in Liverpool. A lot has been injury-related, a lot has been the manager just doing whatever he can do to try and get things working. it does feel like if that is the midfield, and we haven't confirmed that yet, we'll do so very, very shortly. But if that is that, moving Stefan Bajcetic out of the 6 to bring in Fabinho, who has been, to say out of form, he's being kind to him.
Yeah, very kind. He's being very charitable.
Yeah, I'm being nice to him there. Again, big call. He's gone back to Henderson, who again isn't having a great season himself. He had to make a change, obviously, with Thiago's injury, but that is a very industrious midfield. But again, if you pick that team that we think it's going to be, you're asking Trent and Robbo to be your creative forces because you're not getting much goals. You wouldn't think creativity out of Fab, Hendo, Bajcetic.
Not in the form that he's been playing in, definitely not. And you're right, and I think from that midfield perspective, as I know Dan mentioned a few of the qualities of the likes of your experience from Henderson and Fab, and I think that's it. You want to take all the ball playing experience away from them and just give them the responsibility of work hard, run hard, be competitive and stick with your men. And if you can bring that in this game, that's a base level for you to kick on from, because you won't get many other games this season where you can kind of coast on those attributes. More often than not, you're going to have to be able to cut a team open. You're going to have to be able to play a ball. You're going to have to be able to screen a lot better. But we won't really need to draw for those tools in our toolbox tonight. We'll just need to basically go toe-to-toe with Everton. Whatever blow they throw at you, be able to throw the exact same bomb back at them. And if that counteracts them, and then we can go and hit them on the, hit them when we have to go and attack and go forward, we should have too much for them is what you'd hope. But in terms of that creative force for us then, it really is going to be heavily reliant on Robbo and Trent, because they're going to have to be able to use the ball well and put it into dangerous areas that Salah, Gakpo, Nunes can really capitalise on. And it's something that's been a little bit disjointed. I feel sorry for Robbo because, the one consistent thing from Liverpool this season is, the right-hand side. Salah's always going to be on that right wing. Trent's always going to be there to kind of back him up, always there to provide the balls in. But Robbo, since Mane's gone, has had to kind of pick up the reins and have Jota there 1 week. He's had to have Diaz there.
He's had Elliott, Gakpo, Nunes,
Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's had everyone in front of him, so he's not really had that chemistry with something that he's been so used to. I can see someone there in the comments saying that, Fab and Hendo can't run hard. They haven't had to run for weeks anyway, so the one thing I would expect them to be able to do right now is to be able to run hard. But my point about Robertson is he hasn't had that reliable person in front of him to really build that chemistry back up to the point where it was so intrinsic with Mane at points, and not even just last season, through the course of both of them being at Liverpool together, they had that vibe, they had that balance, and then eventually Mane gets moved into the centre back half of last season, and it's Diaz, and he starts to slowly build a little bit of chemistry with Diaz. I was never 100% convinced it was on the same level, but the work needed to be done. And then Diaz has had a 4 or 5 month spell on the sidelines, and he's been out injured. So I do feel sorry for Robertson because he's doing it. He's a bit of a lone wolf in that department at the moment in terms of what chemistry and what link up he can really build on. But ultimately, when we've played our best football under Klopp's reign, it's when both fullbacks are offering that level of creativity for us, and you don't know where the next chance is going to be created from because they're both as potent as each other.
We've seen Van Dijk coming off the team bus well. We reckon he might be on the bench. We'll confirm that again later. But yeah, we are waiting. The team should be out any second now, to be honest with you. On the front three, and I'll stick with you very, very quickly before we do go over to Dan. Yeah. Gakpo on the left, Nunes on up front. Would you swap them round? What would you be doing with those two?
I feel sorry for Gakpo, but I probably would swap them round at the minute because I think Nunes likes to be able to run in behind, and he's probably looked, maybe not necessarily for us, but he's comfortable off the left. He's quite happy to operate off the left. And I think let's be honest, going to Cody and the likes of them, if they've got him marking him, they're going to try and get under the skin. They're going to try and get into his head. Whereas if he's out on that left, he might have a little bit more opportunity to just kind of operate a little bit freely without being too manhandled and thrown off his game, and actually what we need him to do for us. So yeah, I probably would switch them around, but hopefully they're fluid enough to just interchange.
The way Liverpool put their graphic out is usually instructive, and as it stands right now, the team is out. By the way, I'll bring that graphic up on screen for you now. I will. Producer Joe, do that for me. Let me scroll up so you can see it all. But yeah, Alisson, we've got Trent, we've got Matip, Gomez, Robbo, Bajcetic, Fabinho, Hendo, Gakpo, Salah, Nunes. As we thought, the bench, just to confirm it then, Virgil van Dijk is back, but only on the substitute bench. So we've got Keith Kelleher, Virgil van Dijk, James Milner. Naby Keita drops to the bench. Bobby Firmino, glad to have Bobby Firmino back as well. Mm-hmm. No Jota, oh, there he is. Elliott, Jota, Tsimikas and Phillips. You can say Kurt Jones off yours there.
Yeah,
boss.
And that's us then, is it?
Yeah, there you are. Right then, Dan, I'll fire over. I'm going to fire over to you. It looks like on the team graphic that Darwin is up front.
Yeah.
Liverpool's bench looks much stronger as well. But yeah, give me your overall thoughts as you run through the team, my mate.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that team, to be honest with you. I think that midfield department, I've been speaking to loads of people this week who've been calling for Henderson to come back, even before the Thiago news, so that's a really interesting selection. I think we've missed his leadership, as off form as he has been. I think getting him back for a game like tonight, really important. It's interesting, that team lineup, because if we're going off our sort of Darwin Núñez spearheading category, then that means Bajcetic will be in the six and Fabinho
on that, mate,
will be ahead.
We've had a Discord chat from Quadpod, and he says he thinks Fab's going to be on left.
Judging the way we look at the front three would suggest that's the other way around again, which is even more interesting.
One way
mad. That's mad. That's mad.
It is mad.
As if Fab has been dethroned in his position, and it's like the only way I can shoehorn you in is you're going to be the left side of the 8 now. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love to see Fab be able to go into a different part of his locker and not have to worry about the responsibility, because maybe that's been fucking him over, having to overthink a job that he's been so used to just coasting through for ages.
To be fair, the graphic has got Bajcetic. It's got the I'll bring it up here if John can bring it up for me. It's got the centre halves, and then it does have Bajcetic.
Yeah.
It does suggest that that's going to be the case, doesn't it?
Has Fabinho ever played? I mean, it could be a 2 and a 1. Yeah. Potentially, it could be like a double pivot of the two of them. Potentially. I mean, Hendo as a 10 makes
wow.
No. Or is it a straight 3? I don't know.
Just something more like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe 3, and then Gakpo. I don't know.
You'd want Gakpo
in the 10. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Would you want Gakpo there sitting? Because that would work for me. That would genuinely work for me.
That's an interesting, like almost like a Christmas. Yeah, interesting. Who knows how that's going to be. But sorry, Dan, to throw back to you.
Sorry, go on.
No, go back. If Fabinho is left-hand side, how does that work?
If it's like that?
Yeah.
Well, it has to work like that. It has to be Gakpo through the middle lane, dropping deep, because otherwise that space there is just doesn't exist. Because Darwin Núñez is going that way all the time. You've got nothing there. There's no way that can be the case. So.
And there's no press there either. There's no option to press from there.
Sean said here in the chat. Sorry, Shane. Apologies. Shane says it could be 4-2-3-1. If that's the case, that's. Hendo will be a 10.
No, he can't. It can't be. That midfield doesn't lend itself to a 4-2-3-1.
I can't figure out how you do that.
We've already said there's no creative force in that midfield. Therefore, you can't really do a lot with that. The only thing you can do is what we initially thought.
What about this one then? Here's one for you. Neil, 4-4-2 diamond. Gakpo was a 10.
Gakpo, yeah. That's it. You've got to have him.
Diamond.
4-4-2 diamond.
So move Hendo up a bit.
Yeah.
And then put Salah up front.
Yeah.
Next to Núñez.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I see now. Yeah, I'm with you now. Okay.
That's interesting.
I can get behind that.
That makes more sense, doesn't it?
My issue, one of my issues there is you want them to be so inverted, because you can't have him anywhere near the left wing. Can you?
Only final one, Jacob.
Another one, Jesus, God.
3 at the back. Fabinho's playing centre back.
4.
People were talking about that, and then that'd be more like that, and then you probably have him
wing backs though.
Like he played right back before,
so move Hendo and Bajcetic.
Yeah, sorry, move them to around.
Interesting.
Like
that makes sense.
And then that.
This is going to be fascinating. I can't wait to see how this one works out. Excuse me.
Let us know your favourite formation in the comments.
Yeah, let us know what you think is, because we're at a loss. I mean, unless Fabinho is playing left wing. I mean, unless just Bajcetic plays on the left. No. We were right all along before that.
Possibly.
Fair play though. Because I've been criticising Klopp, I've said like all day that will not even change something. I've just said all day, we know that Klopp's not going to change anything. We know what he's like. He's going to expect our lads to go out and perform to the level that he set for them in the past, even though we're clearly not capable of doing it at the moment. So nothing is going to change from a formation point of view. But kudos to him if tonight we do see another change and he's tinkered with it. It's because he's realised now that this is that emergency break glass. We need to do something drastically different if we are going to start to put points back on this, on the board for us.
Unless Liverpool have just thrown us a dummy with the graphic and it just Bajcetic plays left. We'll find out soon enough. Right then, Everton's team, and there's been some doubt about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He is out, just to say, let you know that one straight away. So the Everton team in full, they've got Jordan Pickford, Seamus Coleman, James Tarkowski, Connor Cody, Mikalenko, and then a midfield 3, I think. Garner Gay, Decore and Onana, Iwobi and McNeil, and then it's Ellis Sims up front. Recall from loan at Sunderland, straight back into 11. Their bench is Begovic, Holgate, Keane, Gray, Mina, Mope, Godfrey, Davies, and then Vinagre. Interesting that they've gone for the young lad up front. He's just jibbed Neil Mope off. He's gone right to the young lads. You're in, you're going for it. It does feel like he has gone a little bit, again, back to basics. It looks like a 4-3-3, but the Garner, Decore, Onana midfield caused it caused Arsenal problems. A very good Arsenal team, like we're not playing very well. That is, if you're Everton and if you're Sean Dyche, that's the area of the pitch where you're thinking, right,
that's it.
If we win that battle, and then he's basically got a Wobie, McNeil and Sims, maybe to play almost like a counter-attacking three, or can we win the ball off of Liverpool and break? It feels like that's their tactic there. But yeah, interesting that he's, obviously when we knew Calvert-Lewin was out, I just presumed it'd be Mopé, but he's gone for the young kids.
Yeah, fair play to him. I
mean, Mopé, I have to caveat this, but I apologise in advance on the jinx nature. He doesn't terrify you. You know what I mean? He might come on. If he was starting, if he was starting,
any striker in this league terrifies me.
That's the truth.
We've got two centre backs right now that are so far out of form that like any man goes up against them and you think they've half a chance and they're going to create. Who was it that we watched? We sat there and watched the Leicester guy. Was it Dewsbury Hall? Just ran through everybody.
Dewsbury Hall.
And I was like, bro, he did. He just took the piss, ran through everybody, and there was no defenders there in the first place. So, you could turn around now, and this Sims could make us look stupid in an hour's time. Do you know what I mean? So. I'd reserve judgment in saying no striker or Mopé doesn't scare me. But
it looks like that could be 5. Yeah. That could be 4-5-1 for Everton. Iwobi and McNeil really wide.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-3-3, but in effect, it becomes a 5. That's what again, that's how the stats are brought up there. Interesting that these have got Fabinho, DM and Bacchetti on the left, by the way. But yeah, Ellis Sims I think they put him in there to just leg it about. Again, I thought Mopé would be more likely to do that. But yeah, interesting. So Dan, back to you, mate. If Everton are going for this 4-5-1 formation, what have Liverpool got in the locker? Because if it's a 4 and a 5, I've referenced before, the lack of creativity in that team becomes a problem. Because it's all well and good saying to Gakpo, Nunes and Salah score goals, but someone's got to get the ball to them. And if it's a line of 5 and a line of 4, that can be very, very difficult with that team that we've got there.
It certainly can be. We haven't got loads of creativity, as we already referenced, in the midfield to sort of play our way through that. It might actually mean we have to go quite direct a lot of the time. That outball to Nunes and Salah, particularly if Nunes does hover over to the left-hand side, could be crucial. We could be looking to get in behind, sort of, without being route one, that quick turnover when we win the ball back, we might have to go. Trent's a bit of a master at it, sort of getting a Salah in behind. That could be the way we go, because if they are playing that flat 5, which I imagine they will do, a Sean Dyche side's going to come, they're going to be organised, they're going to make life difficult, they're going to sit deep, much like he did every time Burnley came to Anfield. It's going to be difficult. I think we're actually quite prepared for that in our midfield. We've almost said we're just going to battle in there, we're going to win the ball back, we're going to go quickly. So I haven't got much issue with that. I think my main concern for tonight remains that midfield battle, because you named them there. They're 3 very physical players. Garner's probably the weakest link out of them, and even he is a physical player. We've named our most combative midfield to counter that. Apart from probably James Milner for Bacchetti, that's the only way. We could have been a little bit stronger maybe. But, like I say, in terms of creativity, you're not going to get Trent and Robert in hugely advanced areas against a flat 5 like that. It's not going to happen because it's so difficult to do. So I actually think we might have to play their own game a little bit and get the turnovers and get your wide men, your Salah, Gakpo or Nunes in behind quickly.
We've got a super chat from Sean Casey. Thanks very much, Sean, who says, 3 defensive midfielders, please explain. I think Dan's just done that for him. I think Jürgen's gone, right, we just need lads who can get about the pitch, leg it about. That's what Dyche's Everton did to Arsenal. And I think Dan's right. He's gone for a combative midfield 3. So I think that one's answered. And then it's Crossbow. Darwizzy is getting us a 2-1 win tonight. You'll never walk along. Thanks very much, mate. I hate the Darwizzy thing, though. That can get fucked.
That's in the bin.
Oh, I hate
that. In the bin.
Fucking, his name's Darwin Nunes. I'm not having that at all. Right then, mentioned Betmate before. I do have to make some changes to my team, because I had Navigator in my team. So Nabs is getting out of mine. I'm going to bring it up here right now. So let's get Nabby in. I'm going to have to very, very quickly, I'll be able to bring that up. I'm going to bring it up for you on the screen very, very shortly. Let me just get that one going. Wait there.
How boss is this bench, by the way, ever, whilst he sorts that?
No, the bench is
heavy bench now.
Firepower, actual firepower off the bench,
So someone like Jota, though, just to sort of highlight him for a second, it's absolutely crucial in the game like this.
And Bobby, mate.
Bobby, of course, Bobby's boss. He's been boss all season. But having somebody who, even when we're playing poorly, can just find you a goal out of nothing is absolutely massive. And he could be the man against tonight off the bench.
Absolutely. Right then, I've got my Betmate team up here. I've just taken out Naby Keita, and I had Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the bench, so I've been him off. Who shall I throw in my midfield? This is interesting, this. Because
You've got theirs now. You've got one of theirs. You need to put one of ours in there. I'll put Stefan in.
I'm going to go Henderson. Tackles. But yeah, he's down as a defender on this.
Oh, then yeah.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Enzo. I'm going to throw Enzo in. I mean, the bench striker can just be.
Jota.
I can't. I think I've used enough. You know, I'll just put Mopay on this. Fine. He's not going to come on anyway. So yeah, there we go. I've got Pickford, Robbo, Trent, Onana, Hendo, Salah, and Darwin. If I save that right away, there you go. My team is in. If you want to come and play along with us, like I say, links in the description. If you use the code REDMEN10 when you first sign up, you'll get some free bets as well. By the way, they over at the guys at BetMate having a little competition. They're doing a freebie February, so there's free pots alongside every game as well. So if you want to have a go completely without spending any money and give it a little chance, then there you go. Go and get yourselves involved in that as well. But yeah, we'll keep tracks on that throughout the whole game. But yeah, come and play along with me, Paul, Chris, and the entire team. Dan's in there as well if you want to come have a little game with us. If it's not for you, sad, don't even worry about it. But if it is, and you like that kind of thing, use the code, get yourself some free bets, and come and have a little go. Like I say, link is in the description, or you can just download the BetMate app and use that code REDMEN10 when you first sign up. And we've got you covered every step of the way. I want to come back to it then before we start wrapping up, Ella, very, very quickly. For the first time in a long time, if it's 0-0 at 75 minutes, Liverpool can look to the bench and there's goals on it. That could be... I mean, listen... Liverpool have to not concede in the first 5 minutes, never mind 75 minutes. But at least you're looking at your bench now and you're going, well, if we need a goal, there's Jota, there's Bobby. Because with all due respect, like, he's been looking at his bench recently and it would be young Ben Doak, who's got a very good career ahead of him, but he's a kid. Or he'd be looking at Oxlade-Chamberlain or Fabio Carvalho. Or
Jones or something like that.
Curtis Jones going left wing. Now he's got Jota and he's got Bobby Firmino on that bench. He's got Naby Keita. He's got Harvey Elliott. He's got options off the bench. Finally, players are coming back. That's huge.
The only one missing in that is Diaz, isn't it? Really, and that's that'll make up three out of those 5. They're going to make up our bench consistently week in, week out going forward, and that for us is massive because that is real quality. That is game changing quality that you can actually turn to and say, yeah, go and influence the game or go and have an impact. And I think we've said it on a number of shows leading up to Christmas, and then I've only done a couple afterwards, but it's been. The 11 that he's put out are going to be the 11 that are going to have to win, and more often than not, they've come up short because they just haven't had enough. And when we've had those key opportunities in a game where you think the game really does need someone to either grab it by the scruff of the neck or it needs someone to just be injected into the game to change things, we've come up short because we don't have credible options available to us. So this is the first time. My only reservation on that, because it's the first time, as well as the opposition that we're playing today, they're not going to be as charitable as the likes of a Southampton or even Wolves from last week. I know they went and humbled us, as Dan said, but they are Everton, and Sean Dyche's Everton in particular, are going to be very, very physical. I would love to see those lads have the game sewn up so we don't have to risk the body of a Bobby or a Jota going forward with 20 minutes left to go when we've got big games coming up in the next couple of weeks. So it's great that we've got them, but I'd like it to be almost like a virtue signal to say that's the bench if we need it, but we're not going to need it today because these lads are going to do the business.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'll come over to you, Dan. What it is showing as well, mate, and like, again, Curtis Jones, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Carvalho, not even on the bench, and I don't think any of that's in. That shows like the bench is getting stronger because those lads have been ever present. Really, if they've been fit, one of them's always been there. Even with the absence of Thiago, even with the absence, of course, of Luis Diaz and then Artemelo, whatever you think about it, Ibu Konate, the bench it's a strong Liverpool bench, and that just shows lads getting players back. Virgil looks like he must be close. He'll be looking for that Newcastle game, I guess. But it's such a thing when you can look at your bench, mate, and go, I've actually got lads who I want to bring on, rather than lads who I really don't want to bring on, but I've got no choice.
Yeah, it's boss, yeah. And Jurgen Klopp was playing people kind of out of position as well for a few weeks, wasn't he? He was using Ox on the left wing and stuff like that. It wasn't really natural. But yeah, having them options back is great news, because like Erroll says, to have that firepower to turn to in a game you're not really dominating, you're not even playing that well in, to have people on the bench to come and change that is massive. It's only going to get better as well, because you mentioned Diaz, you got Konate, Calvin Ramsey at some point might be fit and he might play football, who knows. Ben Doak, we've seen glimpses of him, he's been boss at times, so it is only going to get better in the coming weeks. But it is also, it's a statement of intent from our strength and just how many options we do have, and it looks boss and we're all raving about it. But your likes of Fabio Carvalho, who's missed that a few times now in a few different squads.
Well, we've got a super chat here. Sorry, Dan, to say why won't Klopp give Carvalho a chance?
That's the other thing. That's the flip side of it, isn't it? Because likes of Carvalho's come into the side. Had moments he obviously scores the winner against Newcastle and stuff, and you think, okay, go on, kick on. But he's kind of been taken out a little bit, and you wonder. I don't want to sort of say where his future lies, but you do start to think, well, next season when we sign a couple more midfielders, where does this kid fit in? What's his role in the future moving forwards? And you could say the same about Curtis Jones, of course. The Ox, less so, because I think we know where his future lies. He's probably away from the club. But listen, it's boss to have all this strength, but it does ask questions of certain players of the squads as well.
It really doesn't, like I say. Where's Carvalho? Like, I mean, I think it was controversial. Timaka shouldn't be on the bench. I'd have Carvalho there, but who's your backup left back if that's the case? Is Milner? But then if Milner's your backup midfielder as well, he can't be your backup left back at the same time. So I disagree with that one. If he was going to be on the bench, I can't see anyone there who he should be on the bench ahead of. If truth be told, that's where I'm at with him. You could, I mean, yeah, I can't. I don't know if you agree, Erroll.
It's just sad though, because obviously. To be fair, I'd have him ahead of Keita, Naby, but that's because I'm done with Naby. You know what I mean? That's my Naby agenda coming out in full force. But no, I genuinely think there's an element for him where you've got to you feel sorry for him, because if we as a team have been playing this poor and we've had this amount of injuries and you still can't work your way into matchday squads or the starting 11, something, as Dan was saying there, the question marks are going to start to come out, because we've got no choice but to strengthen in the summer. So if we strengthen and the form does have an upturn, he might be one of them players. He plays brilliant when we're playing boss, because he plays better when players are playing good, but we can't call to you to dig deep, because you've not been shown what Stefan's shown, or you've not shown what Harvey's shown enough of, and you can only really bring out that quality when everyone else is quality. So it's a double-edged sword. Maybe when we've got other quality around him in the summer when we're playing better, he might instinctively look better, or, as I say, the flip side of that is when we have got better players in and around him and he still can't make the grade, then you are going to start to look at what is your succession planning. Where do you go in 12 months' time? And at the moment, it's still up in the air. But I think that's the case for a lot of Liverpool midfielders at the minute. There's a lot of players that in the next 6 to 12 months are going to have to earn their right to still keep a Liverpool shirt on week in, week out. Right. I'm fine with that. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's the youngest lad in the squad or the oldest lad in the squad, for as far as I'm concerned, not one of you midfielders have done enough this season for me to say you're nailed on to start 2023-2024 season.
Absolutely.
Oh, well,
he might be the only one.
But he might be the only one. And again, that's
yeah.
mad, do you know what I mean, to say? Because none of us, I didn't even know my man's name at the start of the season, let alone to be singing it now.
He's done what you can do. You can get yourself in the team and you can stay in the team. That's what you got to do.
That's your job. That's the job, innit? And we've seen Trent do it in the past, but there have been a few others. You know, Harvey's had those moments where you know he's going to be in and around a team now. You know the quality he brings, but it's about picking the right games for someone like Harvey, and I think Klopp's done it right tonight. As Dan said earlier in the show, having Harvey in that midfield would just not give us the level of physicality that we'd need to really take it to Everton. When you see the Everton midfield that's been lined up against us.
Got a super chat here from Abdul, says a win tonight could really push us on. You're right. I mean, could really push somewhere. I mean, actually, if you were even interested in the top four, the results actually went Liverpool's way this weekend.
I know, mad.
But it means absolutely nothing unless the Reds can win tonight. Right then, on that, very, very quickly, I'm going to ask Erroll and Dan for their score predictions in a second. Before I do that, give this video a like right now. Give it a good old thumbs up. It really does help us out. If you're watching along and you like the content, give it a big old thumbs up. If you haven't liked it, just click X. Don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine. But yeah, give us a big old thumbs up. Like the stream. It really does help us out with the old YouTube algorithms. Right then, I've stalled enough. You've looked at both teams. You've looked at how it's going to go. Dan, I'm going to come to you first. I've done producer Joe there with the cut. But Dan, come to you. Score prediction for the Merseyside Derby.
Liverpool 2-1. Nunes and Gakpo.
Ooh. I don't mind it. Erroll, Merseyside Derby, score prediction.
I know this sounds like a bit of a damn squid, but I'm just going for a 1-0, you know, and it's going to be Salah. Salah's going to find the goal tonight, and he's just going to save the day, so Salah 1-0.
1-0 Jota.
So you're leaving shit late, like I can't do that, you know. I can't do that. Not on a derby,
mate. The best derby wins are injury time.
They are. But like,
they clap for 90 minutes and your heart goes. But mate, Manayat, Goodison, Origi. That's the stuff.
But they were holding in, watching in the chat. Like remember the Newcastle? We sat there in the Newcastle. The views went through the roof, and we sat there and then Carvalho pops up. But it's great for us because we're like, well, fantastic, we win. But that whole 90 minutes is just excruciating. Like,
Have you watched Liverpool this season? That's been the
whole
whole
season.
It's all been
when we watch us and we are shit, you just relax because you know we're not going to get better in the game. But when there's something to hold on to until the end, that's when it hurts the most, man. But yeah.
1-0 Jota.
1-0 Jota.
1-0
Good call.
Jota.
Someone in the chat saying.
I should have put him in my team, actually, but I didn't. I might do that, actually. Right, then, got a members chat before we go. It's from our good old mate Bum Nugget, who's using him. I absolutely love it. It's amazing. It says, come on, the Reds. Lads, will you give the Mrs. Holly a shout out? That's the only thing she'll be getting for Valentine's Day. Hi, Holly. Soz about you, fella. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Shit.
Yeah.
I'll be going out on my own.
Say
My
less.
missus won't be watching this. She fucking hates this, so she's fine. whatever flowers Asda have got left at 11:30 at night, that's what she's getting for tomorrow. Right then, yeah. We'll be back in about, what? Do me maths for me. 25 minutes time, quarter to the hour for the watch along. So do come and join us for that one. Like I say, put it on the TV, press mute, sync up with us. We've got the stats, we've got the bias commentary, we've got the Liverpool songs as well. And fingers crossed we can get another Anfield Derby day win, because my goodness gracious, we really need it. Thanks to Dan, thanks to Erroll, thanks to you guys for joining us for the show. Like I say, come and play along, bet mates, if you want to. All the details are below, and we'll be back for the watch along at quarter to the hour. Until then, see you in a bit.
We are really proud of what we've built at Redmen Plus. At Redmen TV, we employ 11 people in the Liverpool area. It's something that I am so proud of. And we couldn't have done it without the support of you guys who watch the videos and the people who subscribe to redmenplus.com. If you like the cut of our job, if you like the content that we make, then we make more of it. Redmenplus.com. Help us to help the community by signing up today.